You ever notice how the more peaceful you become, the more certain people start acting weird around you? Like you're just sitting there, not bothering anyone, and somehow that alone makes someone irritated? That's not random, and it's definitely not because you did something wrong. There's something about a calm woman that agitates chaotic people. You would think chaos would be triggered by more chaos, right? But no. Chaos gets triggered by stillness because stillness is a mirror. And a lot of people do not like what they see when things get quiet. The reality is, some people need noise to avoid themselves. They need drama. They need tension. They need conflict. They need constant stimulation. Because the second everything goes quiet, their thoughts get loud. And when you're a peaceful woman, when you're comfortable sitting in silence, minding your own business, and enjoying your own company, your presence highlights that they are not. You're not even trying to do anything. You're just regulated. And that alone exposes dysregulation. Some people really dislike how calm you are. They can't stand that you don't react the way they would. They can't stand that you don't chase drama. They definitely can't stand that you're not easily provoked because chaos feeds on reaction. And when you don't react, it starves. Have you ever experienced this? You're around someone who constantly complains, gossips, stirs things up, and you're just there, listening, neutral, calm. And suddenly they start poking at you. You know, like the little comments, backhanded jokes, subtle digs. It's like they're trying to get you to break character, trying to see if they can pull you into their emotional storm. That's not an accident. That's someone who feels uncomfortable sitting next to peace. Chaotic people often use other people as emotional regulators. Instead of self-soothing, self-reflecting, and processing their feelings internally, they outsource it. They provoke, they vent, and they create tension. And if they can get you upset too, now they don't feel alone in their chaos. Listen, some people don't want peace at all. They want company in their dysfunction. And a peaceful woman refuses to provide that company just by simply not participating. And that's what irritates them. There's also envy involved. Envy isn't always about looks, money, or status. Sometimes it's about nervous system regulation. Some women have fought hard to become peaceful. They've processed their trauma instead of performing it. That peace costs you something, and someone who hasn't done that work can feel that. They might not consciously think, I envy her, but their body feels it. They feel the contrast, and instead of rising to meet it, they try to disrupt it. You'll notice something else too. Chaotic people get very uncomfortable with silence. Have you ever sat quietly in a room and someone immediately starts filling it with noise, talking nonstop, starting unnecessary debates, and creating tension out of nothing? Silence makes self-aware people reflective, yet it makes unhealed people anxious. And if you are someone who enjoys quiet, who doesn't need constant stimulation, you become a walking reminder that stillness is possible. That's powerful, and power makes insecure people nervous. Being a calm woman isn't boring, it's threatening, because calm women are hard to control. You can't manipulate someone who isn't emotionally reactive. You can't bait someone who doesn't crave validation. You can't dominate someone who's comfortable walking away. And that lack of access feels like rejection to someone who thrives on chaos. When you're peaceful, you don't compete. You don't feel the need to dominate conversations. You don't need to one-up people. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. And in environments where subtle competition is the norm, especially among women who were socialized to measure themselves against each other, your lack of participation can feel threatening. It disrupts the hierarchy. You're not fighting for position. You're not playing the game. And nothing confuses competitive people more than someone who refuses to compete. I've personally experienced moments where the calmer I became, the more someone escalated. The more grounded I responded, the louder they got. And I used to think, maybe I'm being too quiet. Maybe I should match their energy. No. That was my old people-pleasing instinct trying to make them comfortable. But peace isn't meant to make chaos comfortable. It's meant to reveal it. The more they try to provoke you, the more you should realize you're winning. Not winning in a competitive sense, winning in self-mastery. If someone is trying to drag you into drama and you're calmly declining, that's emotional maturity, and not everyone has access to that. Now, let's be clear. Being peaceful doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It doesn't mean pretending you're unbothered when you're actually hurt. Real peace is not avoidance, it's control. It's choosing when to engage and when to conserve your energy. And chaotic people can sense when they no longer have emotional access to you. That's when the attempts to provoke get stronger, because they're testing the boundary. If you've ever felt like people get annoyed at you for no reason, especially when you're just minding your business, it's not about what you're doing. It might actually be about what you're not doing. You're not feeding their drama. You're not mirroring their insecurity. You're not reacting on command. And some people interpret neutrality as arrogance, calm as judgment, and boundaries as hostility because they're used to chaos being the baseline. Peaceful women don't disrupt the room, they simply expose it. And exposure feels uncomfortable to people who aren't ready to see themselves. There's no need to feed into chaos to make someone else comfortable. Don't let someone convince you that your quiet strength is weakness. Your ability to sit in stillness is power. Your ability to respond instead of react is power. And your ability to mind your business and build your life quietly is power. If your peace triggers someone, let it. Peace was never meant to beg for acceptance. The right people will feel safe around your calmness. They won't try to provoke you, but rather, they'll appreciate you. And anyone who feels irritated by your stillness, that's not your responsibility to fix. That's their mirror. Alright ladies, that is all for today's video. If you'd like to keep up with more of my content, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Reina Safo. One last thing, always remember to protect the woman you're becoming. I'll see you in the next one.